What's going on, New Canoe Nation, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Unlimited podcast. Hope you guys had a great holiday weekend last week. Took the week off, did a little recouping, a little fishing, all that good stuff, man. So glad to see everybody here tonight. Drop in the comments where you guys are tuning in from, what kind of boat you're floating out of. We don't even care if it's not a new canoe. We got our man Derek Brundle in the house tonight. We're going to be talking a little tournament fishing, catch up with him, see what he's been up to. I know he's been kind of fishing all over the place this year. I know he was just out in California, just grinding away on that tournament scene. So it's going to be good to catch up with him. Don't forget, if you guys are posting on social media and you're out in your new canoes, make sure you put hashtag new canoe in there. We can grab some of your photos, put them in some of the intros here for the podcast. Don't forget, guys, gals, if you miss part of the show or you like listening in the audio format, all this stuff gets uploaded to all the major podcast platforms. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Cast, all that good stuff. So you can listen to it while you're on the water, on the way to the water, on the way to work, whatever it may be. So we're just happy to have you guys here with us. Let's get the man of the hour in here, Mr. Derek Brundle. What's up, brother?
What is going on?
Not much, man. Good to see you as always.
Good to see you as
Uh,
well.
I was trying to think, did you fish the Invitational, KBF Invitational at the beginning of the year?
You know what? I didn't. This year was kind of weird for me. Unfortunately, my wife had a couple of strokes earlier this year, so I kind of got sidelined for quite a while. But thankfully, she made it through, and she's, doing some physical therapy and different therapies to get back on her feet. So I didn't get down to Florida and run that like I normally do. Um, it was a little bit of a strange start for the year, but I know that the guys had a blast down there, and it looked like a whole bunch of fun. I usually down there trying to catch some alligators and something else while I'm down there. So probably make that trip next year, though.
Okay, right on. I first of all, I didn't know your wife was having some health issues, so it's good to hear that she's doing better, man.
Yeah, she's on the upswing now, man. It's good. She's driving again, so um, still trying to get around a little bit, but I mean, she's making good progress. I'm really proud of her. She's come a long way.
No, that's great news, man. I had no idea, and I couldn't remember if I saw you down in Florida or not, because I actually made the trek down this year.
Ah, yeah, no, I wish I was there, but I wasn't.
Trust me, you didn't miss much, dude. It was like 30 degrees. The wind was
I
blowing
saw,
40.
but
Like,
you know what? That's the stuff that I love. That's what I'm used to. You know what I mean? That's what we fish in up here in the Northeast all the time. It's like
right.
home, fishing at home.
Well, I think I was talking to somebody down there, and they're like, "Yeah, might as well stay down here. It's a blizzard back home right now because I think you guys got a bunch of snow." So it was like
We did, yeah.
a couple of guys were talking about fishing a little longer just because they didn't want to drive home into that.
Oh yeah, it was ugly up here for a while. We had some brutal weather, and then all of a sudden it went to summer, and then there was nothing, no rain, no anything. So it was a crazy swing.
It's been a crazy year, man. Weather-wise.
Yeah.
It's been up and down, up and down. But I mean, speaking of weather, you were just out in California, and they've been, suffering through that drought, and lakes are super low. I mean, what was that like?
It was brutal. Yeah. My wife got the okay to fly. So we instantly booked some tickets to go out to California to see our daughter and our grandson, and my son-in-law and the two dogs. And we spent a couple weeks out there, and the KBF Clear Lake event just happened to be at the same time. So hey, Mark, thanks, buddy, appreciate it. Yeah, so we got a chance to go out and visit, and then my good buddy Shane picked me up, and we ran up to Clear Lake. It was like a kind of a crazy deal. We went up there. We actually left Friday. I forget what time it was, maybe like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And then we drove to Romel's house because Romel lent me a kayak, so I have something to float around in. We got to Romel's about, I think it was about midnight or so, and we kind of, shot the bull with him for a bit, and then got right back on the road and headed to Clear Lake from his house. And we got there about, I think we got there at like 3:30 in the morning, enough time to get to. Some of our friends had an Airbnb. We got there, woke them up, and had them make us up some coffee. And then we went straight from that cup of coffee to the boat ramp and just went after it. And it was brutal. It, it was brutal to say the least. Um, the first day, we left out of State Park in Clear Lake. I mean, world famous. Every time you see people fishing out of Clear Lake, you see them paddling out from State Park launch. You know what I mean? So, I know my mindset was I want to leave from State Park and I want to go punch those beautiful mats that they have there and all that frogging territory that they have. That's all I want to do. I just want to go to Clear Lake and go to State Park and fish there. Um, and Shane wanted to go too, so we did that. And yeah, I got one blow up. I was on my very first cast with a frog. I don't even know if it was light out yet. I don't think it was light out yet. And that was the only bite I had all day long.
Oh
Um,
man.
and it was brutal. So, up since like 4 a.m. my time. So probably like I was probably up at like 1 or so, 1:30 or something, and out Cali time, and we got up there, no sleep, fished throughout the whole day. It was like 100 and I think it was like 103 or 104 the first day we were there. There was absolutely no wind. Um, Yeah, it was brutal. But some dudes were killing it. Like Cayman Rasmussen killed it. Bryce Gibbs killed it. Um, some of the other Cody Henley did pretty good there. But those guys had been there for a week or two or whatever and had been dialing it in over the weeks. My first time there, again, like I said, I had one bite, and it was terrible. It was beautiful. The scenery was beautiful. I saw a bunch of deer. I went down this creek and there's a bunch of deer bedded up along the creek. They got up and just kind of walked off. It's pretty
That's
neat.
cool.
But the mountains, the lake itself, gorgeous. So yeah, wrapped up day one. After day one, ended up talking to Greg Blanchard in the parking lot for a little while, and I said, man, I said all day long I felt like I was in the spot that would win this thing. Like I never wanted to leave that spot that I was in. Um, and Greg was there fishing around that same area, and he's like, you know what, you probably would have won that, or one of us would have won that if it was the Clear Lake of regular. But it was literally, I mean, I don't know how low it was, but at one point during the second day, I was fishing by a guy's dock who was standing on his dock drinking coffee, and he was literally above me. Like the water was so low, I was below his dock line, and he said, "Hey man, you're in a good spot. This is where the bass, there's usually a few big bass that hang around this dock." He said, "But it's just so low, they're not here. They probably went offshore or whatever." Um, but it kind of shocked me because I said, "Man, I was telling him it's a beautiful boat. He had a nice boat on a raising, lowering boat lift." And he said, "Yeah, I'd love to use it, but the boat lift doesn't go low enough to get it in the damn lake."
Oh
Um,
wow.
yeah, so all the stuff that you think you would go to Clear Lake to fish, the toolies and all that, they weren't they weren't even in the water. So it was wild. It was a change. The second day we went to launched out of Clear Oaks boat launch and went and fished that Rattlesnake Island area, which we did. We did better. I ended up catching two fish there. I only got two bites, but I got two fish. And then yeah, we kind of wrapped it up and then turned around and ran home right after that. So it was a quick turnaround on the fishing trip, but it was fun. I will definitely be going back because I want redemption for Clear Lake for sure. Um, yeah, so Clear Lake was fun. Visiting the grandson of my daughter was awesome. We got to go to like the safari park, and we hung around the house. We went down. My son-in-law is a Marine, and they're on Pendleton, so I got to go down and watch some of the really cool ACV, the amphibious combat vehicle training exercises and stuff, like firsthand, right up on the launch ramp that they have there. It was fun, man. We had a good time. It was good to see the family, and then yeah, then we came back, and it was right back to the grindstone. Fished a couple of local events, and then had some family come out from Texas, my niece and nephew, and my niece is recently engaged to her fiance. And they came out and hung out for a week and a half or so, and um, it was good. So, getting a lot of good family time in this year, you know?
That's good, man. It's important, right? Like,
For
especially
sure.
for you. I mean, the last couple of years, you've been really grinding, traveling the road, and hitting the tournament scene hard.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I do love it. I love it. I absolutely love it, man. I mean, I usually always got my travel partner, Matt Conant. He's always with me, so we're always just doing stupid things, running around the country, fishing all these great lakes that all these trails have to offer. Um, and I think kind of this year with everything having to be slowed down, it was kind of nice being able to reflect on. I think you get caught up during the tournament, trail events and all that. That's just so crammed throughout the year that when you don't go to all of them and you kind of step back and you say, man, that really is a lot of fun. And it kind of reflect on the times that you've had with, your buddies or fishing a certain lake or, a memory that happened at that spot or whatever. So I think this year's been good for me as far as reflecting, taking the time to little, reset. And I think next year we're going to come back pretty hard again.
Nice, nice, dude.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, man.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I actually, I've got myself a bass boat too, so I'm gonna do a lot of local trail stuff. I've been fishing a big boat series trail with a good buddy of mine, Cameron Smith, and been having a lot of fun. I've been learning a lot. Cameron fishes, at that elite level. He's been an ABA Angler of the Year. Fishes Bass Open stuff like that. So learning from somebody of that caliber, and the different things that they do during a tournament really kind of opened my eyes a lot this year too. So that's been good, but yeah, I've been just kind of concentrate on the local stuff basically because sometimes I'll get might not even get a whole tournament. I get out 4 or 5 hours and then come home or whatever. But it's been cool because got to dial some stuff in and really kind of work on myself as an angler, you know, moving forward. So it's
Right
been
on,
good.
man. What do you? It's interesting, right? The boat world versus the kayak tournament world. What what do you think is the biggest differences between the two that you've kind of gathered over this year fishing both?
Well, one thing that I
Other
will
than the
admit,
motor.
right, I was just going to say one thing I will admit. It's nice to fire up and run 70 miles an hour to the next spot, rather than 5.5 in my unlimited. But I think one of the biggest things that I've learned, especially being a boating partner, I'm in the back of the boat, right? So I'm learning a different way to approach a situation, a different way to throw it a certain target, learning better angles. Um, like I said, with a guy like Cameron in the front of the boat that's fished at elite levels, he kind of does things differently. So I've been paying a lot of attention to that, and then trying to kind of mirror that as okay, maybe when I'm approaching a target, I can approach it at a different angle or at a different speed or whatever it might be. Um, to maybe give that fish a little bit different presentation than the next guy that always just runs up and pitches at the tree or whatever. Um, kind of learning different techniques or ways to approach a situation. I think has really been my biggest takeaway from the boat to the kayak world.
Yeah, right on, man. That's important, right? Being able to pick things apart in different ways, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah, and I also learned a little bit too, and I've done it. in the past, but I think in a kayak, in my mind, it sticks to myself. Okay, I've only got so much time here, so I can get to the next spot. It takes me an hour to get to the next spot, or whatever. You know what I mean? But fishing in the boat, knowing I have a lot more time to get to the next spot, take a lot more time to pick that cover apart and maybe get that extra one or two bites that you maybe wouldn't have because you're got that in your mind that you got to get over to there, you got to get over there. And in a kayak, going 2 miles takes 30 minutes. Um, you know what I mean? Just things like that are kind of maybe a little bit better time management, I think, um, can translate over to the kayak world from the bass boat side.
Right on, right on. No, that's good stuff, man. Yeah, time is our worst enemy, right? In a tournament.
Yeah,
So
for
being
sure.
able to utilize that more is huge.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this is kind of a funnier thing, but a lot of times, he'll have the radio on in the boat, lightly. But, he's up there doing his thing, and then you start to get into this groove, and you kind of forget that you're in a tournament, and you kind of ease out a little bit. Um, so with that being said, I got myself a little, JBL Bluetooth speaker that's waterproof. I clip it on my unlimited seat, and I got that. There you go, man. I got that thing. It's on. You know what I mean? I just got Pandora playing something, whatever, just random stuff or whatever, and next thing you know, you're grooving and you're doing your thing and you're pitching perfectly and you're skipping up under that dock, right? And you're not frustrated with the day, and it just kind of everything kind of goes a little bit more smooth. So I think that I found myself a little way to calm down a little bit while I'm in a tournament and not be so, I wouldn't say not focused, but not so like one track focused, you know what
Yeah,
I
on
mean? Kind of
edge
take it
almost.
all in, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing what a little rhythm playing in the background will do for your actual fishing rhythm. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
I, I did the same thing. I picked this thing up. I think it was the beginning of the season, and it's so nice having a little tunage or something playing in the background while you're fishing, man. It just calms you down, like you said.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, and it's like, this year has been, I wouldn't say too intense, but it's been a little bit more of an upstep on the R&D side. I got into a partnership with Yak Rods, and they've been a great company, and we really put a lot of work in. We designed um, what I feel is probably the ultimate jerkbait rod for a kayak angler. All of the rods are actually, designed specifically for kayak fishing, but this jerkbait rod, the Rip Series rod that we designed, um, came out awesome, man, and it is like money when it comes to throwing a jerkbait. Um, you can literally throw a 110 almost out of sight with this thing. And then, we
Nice.
went with a little bit heavier action, traditional heavier action than what most people are used to. Because, I mean, to break down a rod, most rods are designed. I mean, I'll be blunt about it, for a bass boat. You know what I mean? Most
Hmm.
most rods are that's what bass boat has been number one since the beginning of time. But and everybody will say it, and maybe people don't realize it. But when you set the hook, when you're a kayak, you set the hook. That kayak turns, right, man? You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? It swings around with that fish as it tows down, and then you lose hook set power, right? So what I started doing a couple of years ago was, fishing with a traditionally heavier action than what normal people would be throwing, a heavy rod for a jig instead of a medium heavy rod, or whatever. So we kind of designed this jerkbait rod with that in mind. So when you do set the hook and you come into that fish, and your kayak starts to turn, you've got a little bit more stiffness, a little bit more weight to that rod. It keeps that fish pinned, but it's got this crazy parabolic bend. And I got a really good picture of it, and I put it on my Instagram. But this thing is almost a horseshoe shape. Of course, I got like probably an 18 or a 20-pound striped bass on it. We tested it in just about every scenario, but um, the rod performs killer. It's called the Rip Series. So if you get a chance, check them out. They do come with a lifetime warranty. Crazy stuff. The rods are super sensitive. Like I said, you can You can really cast things a mile. We've got it set up at 6'9", so it might be a little bit shorter than most people are used to, but it performs very well in a kayak. Extra fast tip. We're calling it a medium action rod, but it's more towards a medium heavy action on the rod. But man, if you like I said, if you get a chance, check them out. Yak rods, they're built, for kayakers from kayakers. I mean that everybody in the company, from the main rod builder to the people that are working there, they're kayak anglers. The staff are obviously kayak anglers. But man, great rod company, great rod. If you get a chance, check them out. Um, and like I said, you won't be disappointed with them. So that's been a big part of this whole year, has been working with them and designing that rod. It's been really a lot of fun.
That's super cool, man. I just dropped the link to Yak Rods in the chat, and if you guys are
Oh,
listening later on the podcast platforms, I'll put that link in the show notes and go check them out. I've heard good things about them, man. I've never actually physically used one, but super nice from all the things I've heard about them, man.
yeah, man, they're just well built, made in the USA rods. They feature the microwave guide system, so that rod's designed to throw, braid to a fluorocarbon leader or mono leader if you're into that kind of thing. But that microwave guide system, that first guide has that microwave guide ring on it, and it really helps to gather up that braid as it comes off crazy from your spinning spool, your spinning reel, and it really gathers it down and then shoots it through the rest of the guides for the remainder of the rod. And it really helps to increase that casting distance. I mean, I we were striper fishing Sunday with a buddy of mine, Nate, and he was amazed that I had a little Storm chug bug popper on there. I don't know if you ever seen those. You can buy them at Walmart. They're probably the most devastating popper around here for these striped bass, but um, he was just amazed at how far you can throw that stupid little popper. Um, with that rod, and it was making a huge difference because I was getting probably, I don't know, 10 bites to his one because we were so far out away from the boat, and these fish are in this shallow flats. So when distance is a factor, and we all know distance is a factor with jerkbaits because you can get it down to the maximum depth of that the working depth of that bait. So when you need a nice long cast for that, but um, again, that microwave guide system really helps to taper it down and shoot it through the guides and give you the extra casting distance. So, yeah,
Heck yeah,
I won't
man.
talk any more about it, but yeah, if you can, check them out. Very, very, very nice rods.
No, the microwave guide systems, man, they're pretty unique. I remember learning about them probably 8 years ago or something when American Tackle came out with them, and
Yep.
dude, they make a huge difference for cast stability. Like like you said, you can cast a mile with those things.
Yeah, yeah, they did. They definitely make a huge difference.
So R&D side, man, what's that been like for you? That's kind of new for you, right?
It's not super new for me, but it's exciting, man. We worked with a bunch of different blanks as far as that goes, and then eliminating different actions and stuff because it just wasn't what we figured was going to be the right action for what we were going for. Um, Doing the R&D side of it, um, you know, getting out testing, it was a huge bonus for me because I really couldn't get too far away from home, so I could run out for a few hours, do a bunch of R&D, and then come back, and then kind of report back, and then we could shuffle ideas back and forth. But being part of that from design to prototype to now production line has been a really neat journey. I mean, I really love it. I was fortunate enough to be part of it with New Canoe on the Unlimited design. That was an incredible, just, I mean, that was really incredible. I mean, I didn't realize what everything went into when you're designing a kayak. I mean, from the CAD CAM drawings to multiple discussions on how we wanted this thing to end up to um, 3D drawings, then to a wooden boat, then to a mold, then to the final production. I mean, the R&D is something that I really enjoy. It's so much fun. I mean, just seeing it come from a little tiny idea to now this huge production, whatever it might be. In the case of the Unlimited, how popular the Unlimited has become, and knowing that I had a part of that is a pretty neat feeling. Same with the rods, same thing there. But the Unlimited coming out and just absolutely taking off like it did really kind of hit home for me. Like, this is something that I really enjoy doing.
Heck yeah, man. I'm working on some stuff right now, and I'm super excited about it, dude. It's just like to be able to go out, test it, come back with new ideas, run those through the paces, whether they work or don't,
Don't.
and then rewriting it again and again and again until you get that thing totally dialed in, man. It's super cool.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like watching your kid grow up almost.
I hear you, man, and that goes by so quick. I mean, we were designing the Unlimited for some time, and now it feels like it was like went by like that, and now all of a sudden, boom, it's
Yeah,
out there. You know what I mean? And now
sure.
there's so many people that come up to me and they're like, if they're in the Unlimited, they're like, dude, this thing kills it. And if they're not, they're like, dude, can I drive that thing? And they just jump in and take off, and then they come back and they're like, oh my god, I love this boat. You know what I mean? And it's really cool to see that. And then when I tell them the story, like, hey, it's kind of really neat that you said that. I was, part of this design team for this boat, and then I'll always ask them, what do you think we could have done better? So if we ever go back into another design, I can keep that stuff fresh in my mind, and then move on from there. But it's really neat to be a part of that for sure.
Heck yeah, man. I love it, dude. I love it. We've had you about a half hour, brother, man. So, any final
Anything
thoughts,
that goes
things you
by
want to
so
throw out
quick.
there?
Yeah, no, I mean, we're just living. I mean, we're trying to get ready for the national championship. New Canoe will be putting in a top team cup team, so we're excited for that. We're gonna have myself, Matt Conant, Chuck Miser, and Ron Himmelhaver. We're gonna go down there and just hit Kentucky Lake with everything we got, and try and represent the brand and bring us home another a trophy down there. That would be killer in my opinion. I think we got four good dudes to get down there and make it happen.
Heck yeah, man. All sticks that you just named off for sure.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm always excited for this time of year when kind of have an end of the tunnel type of thing, or a light at the end of the tunnel of the national championship. It kind of wraps it up for me, and then I can just kind of take a step back and reflect on the year, but get out and do some hunting, or kind of change it up a little bit, do a little bit different. Um, but yeah, man, we're looking forward to that. We've got some of the local stuff. We're a trail that we fish up here, Massachusetts Kayak Bass, and our championship is coming up in a couple weeks. Can't wait for that. Elite Kayak Fishing just wrapped up the championship that they had on Champlain last weekend. Um, you know, just everything this time of year is getting to be super exciting. The fall striper run here, the saltwater stuff, the albies and the false albacore and the striped bass and the bluefish, it's going off right now. So
Nice.
hopefully we can get out and get a little bit of albie content out of the Unlimited this year. Um, but I was just talking to my wife about it today, and the schedule is pretty packed. We got a bunch of stuff going on. So
Well, you took the beginning of the year off. You might as well go out with a bang, my man.
that's right. That's right. Mine as well.
Right on, man. Where can people follow along to see where you're at, what you're doing, and the tournaments you're fishing, man? Like, plug your social medias there, bud?
Yeah, man. I mean, you can check me out on Instagram at Fish Freak DJB. Um, on TikTok, same handle. You check me out on Facebook, under my name or under Derek Brundle Fishing, either one. But if you want to know what I'm doing, you just go on Fishing Chaos, and just about every tournament that's on there, you'll probably see my ugly face pop up on the roster list there. But yeah, man, I mean, just kind of doing the thing, got the KFL going, and all that. The team is traveling out to Detroit this week. So go Maulers. Hopefully they
Nice.
can pull a win off on Lake St. Clair against Detroit Motor City. But yeah, man, I mean, we're just maintaining and hopefully get riled up for next year and kind of set it off at an unbelievable pace.
Right on, man. Well, I wish you and the guys good luck down at the NC, man, and good luck for the rest of the season. I know you'll be at the top of that leaderboard for sure, brother.
We're gonna try. We're gonna try. I've never been to Kentucky Lake. We'll get a few. We'll probably get about 5 days worth of pre-fishing in, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Right on. It'll be a fun one, man, and that's another beautiful lake. If you've never been there, man,
Nope, never.
it's super unique.
Yeah, that's like the only part of the river that flows south to north, right? That
Right.
makes that big turn and then goes back up north. So yeah, I'm kind of looking at that, and I mean, I've heard they got smallmouth there. I really love catching smallmouth, so you probably see a few brown ones come across my board. That's for sure.
I like it. I like it. All right, guys. We'll catch you next week. We're here every Tuesday night, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 o'clock out on the West Coast. Huge thanks to Derek for joining us tonight.
Thank
Go
you.
give him a follow on the social medias. Follow along for his tournament series. And wish him and the rest of the New Canoe guys good luck down at the national championship.
Let's
And
go, Team New.
let's get another team cup on the board for us, brother.
Absolutely.
Right on. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you then. See you.